Welcome to the It's All Fine and Dangy podcast, where hosts Dan and Angie talk with creatives, small business owners, charities, and all kinds of interesting people. It's all real talk. It's all fine and dangy.
I don't know if you ever watched King of Queens.
Sure
but
did.
He did like a cameo, like he was their neighbor.
Yeah.
And so they were
Hey.
friends, and I think he was on that before his show came out.
Everybody Loves Raymond. His
Yeah.
brother's voice was almost like your voice.
Oh yes. Real talk.
Oh,
What's his name?
The brother on the show, also in Ice Age, wasn't he?
And he was also in
Maybe.
Seinfeld.
Maybe.
This is like bizarro Everybody Loves Raymond world.
You do say that though, that you have your Ray Romano voice.
I know, because
It's
somebody
kind of nasally and deep at the same time.
Somebody picked it out one time, and now I can't not hear it.
I know.
That's a hell of an intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Right.
All right. So, welcome back to the show, everybody. We are sitting here with Erin Morse and Patricio Solano from the law offices of Erin Morse. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. This is fun. It's been a long time coming, actually.
Yeah, we've been trying to plan this for
It's
hell of a time.
it's been a
little
lot.
bit.
You've been very selfish. You've had to do so many surgeries.
I
I
know.
mean, God.
I know that you're really important, and I'm sorry that we've interrupted your show. But thank you.
Hopefully,
I think I'm
nothing
all done.
happens tonight. It won't.
Well, there'll be no surgeries tonight, so
I'm
I
not
think
saying
we're good.
that. Okay, good.
I mean, I
yes.
can help you out.
Yeah, we'll just do
Please.
it right here. We'll save a lot of
Please.
money.
Yeah, I worked in a hospital for about six
I felt
years.
like I lived in one for about 6
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I just had an epiphany right now. You have 3 podcasts in this room right now.
Yes, we do.
This is the crossover episode.
Yeah.
So let's walk through that for a minute, because before we get into the law stuff, we have With the Side of Chaos, which is Patricio's podcast. And then we have, hold on, this is a really cool name because you've injected Morse into it. I have to use my cheat sheet here. It's called Legal Morse of Action. That is,
Yeah.
who came up with that?
Me.
I thought it was Kyle.
No, it wasn't. It was not. He just agreed that it was a good one.
Really?
Yeah,
love it.
It's a great
it was
play
mine.
on
It
words.
really
I
is.
love it.
Well, I guess like when we were trying to
Because I
come up-
love the iteration of Morse code.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
think
I
that's
love that
witty.
too.
And I was like, what could we do with Morse code? And then I was like, we can't. I don't even know how we got there. We were just like
jeez.
brainstorming. The spaghetti at the
yeah,
wall
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Well, no, like literally the moment that we came up with the name, like I'm like, I have an idea for the intro. And like within 10 minutes, like we had an intro ready to go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that is amazing. So, how long have you been doing the podcast?
So we started, initially it was a Q&A on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that's
'cause
so
you-
you were kind of already doing.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
still do the live Q&As,
We
right?
do,
Is it
we do.
Thursdays at 5:45?
It jumps from Thursday to Friday depending on the
Okay.
availability of the guest. And
Also the availability of me and going to court.
yeah,
Yeah, of course.
100%.
You mean you can't cancel that for the Q&A?
Yeah.
on
Your
now.
Honor, I'm unavailable. I have a podcast. Have you seen it?
Yeah, you can't.
Your
cancel,
colleague was on
You
it.
can't cancel that for some free advice.
Yeah.
Come on, lady.
People need me on YouTube. Okay.
But no, it's because I do the marketing for Erin.
Yeah.
And when we came up with the concept of doing a live Q&A, I think we did like probably 15 live Q&As at one point. And then she was like, well, why don't we, I think it was you who suggested like doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we literally have everything in front of us right now to build a podcast. So we just took the Q&A.
I really appreciate that you're giving me credit for that when you were the podcast guy.
Was it because of his voice, Erin? Tell the truth.
Yeah. I
has to
mean,
be.
he had to be on it with me. I could probably carry it on my own,
Oh,
but it would be
100%
very
you totally
boring.
could.
It's the voice. It's
be
the
boring.
Yeah, I love his voice.
Or
Like,
I need
could
someone
just-
to talk to. So.
He should make. You should really
Do
make-
Audible.
He should make like sleep tapes, like where
Or
you
like
just
those
talks,
like
and you just-
ASMR, and he'd be like,
Now, you see, that's the thing. I hate ASMR videos.
well, it's not for
I don't
you.
know what
You're
that
not
is.
the target
I know,
audience.
I know, and I hate
What
I
is
hate
an
it.
AMS?
Still make money off of it, though.
It's like when they speak real low and you can like
That sounds
hear
like
their
a
they're-
special 1-888 number that you call.
Like
Perhaps it
they're-
is.
Is that what
at
it
a-
is?
They're
Okay.
recording
It's
sounds.
not. That's not what
Oh,
ASMR.
no.
That's not
Okay.
ASMR. You're thinking of another acronym. I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
that.
Like if you were
Remind me later, and I'll show you something.
if you were to shake your glass to the microphone and hear the ice, clink against the glass.
Okay.
And
That
have you
would
ever
be-
heard those videos where they like tap on the?
Okay, so it's
like-
different. It's like for meditation
Yeah,
or for
it's like-
focus or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, I got you.
And like I think his voice is kind of in that
This
frequency.
is going to drive.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is.
This is going to drive Dan crazy.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of chill.
That's ASMR, right? Don't
Yeah,
you feel better
No
now?
doubt.
Yeah.
It's like those videos where they show people like cutting sponges real
That-
slow
yeah.
and that kind
He
of
does
stuff.
watch that kind of stuff.
I love
so-
those.
Me too. It's
Very
soothing.
repetitive.
So-
kind
And then
of
there's
stuff.
the ones where they reverse it, where they show like a
Satisfying,
perfectly,
that's what they call
yes,
it.
where they show like a perfectly folded piece of paper, and the last minute they fold it wrong, or they cut a cake all wrong.
That
and
yeah,
I'm
that
like,
one gets me like
Me too.
I got an eye twitch because of that.
Me too. So, Erin, you're a family law attorney, and Patricio, you are the marketing lead and a paralegal.
Yes.
there, right? Very
does a
nice.
lot.
Very nice.
So yeah, every time he comes, I'm like, "What else you doing? What else you doing?"
There's more.
Like, yeah, I know. He's like,
But
jack
wait,
of
there's
all
more.
trades.
He's like a
But wait, there's more.
he's like a commercial, right? But wait, there's more.
There's more, and you do all the voices too. So how long have you been in business, Erin? Or I guess I should say, how long have you had this law firm?
Since 2017.
Okay.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And so I think you probably practice the hardest type of law that there is to practice.
I appreciate that you think that.
I really
Thank you.
do because
Oh, I
it is
do
hard.
too.
Criminal, yeah, you did something wrong,
You
there
did it,
go.
right?
You
So
did
I'm
it.
just we're
Yeah.
softening the blow.
Yeah, but
yeah.
the thing is, with family law, you're getting. I mean, it's so personal, and
both parties are kind of at fault, but it's a no fault state, right?
Yeah.
well, and you are kind of trying to figure out what's
I'm
going
sure-
on. It's almost like you got to be a psychologist and a
Oh, and you have to know real
therapist
estate
and-
law.
Oh
and
my
you have to
gosh.
know assets and liabilities.
And the
child custody.
child custody, exactly. So all these different areas that you've got to know about. It seems like it would be really tough and emotional, and you got to kind of have a tough outer skin, but still have empathy.
Right. I feel a lot of times I feel like I have to say this to my clients, right? Not every wrong has a remedy.
Yeah.
Does
So-
this have a red light on it?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
I
So
haven't
just
got a
because
heart
you were
attack.
wronged in some way by your spouse doesn't mean it has a remedy.
Yeah. There's no
Yeah.
payback.
Right.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I don't want to say this every episode because I said it last episode, and I don't normally say
But
this.
I wasn't on last episode, so it's new to me.
Yeah,
Well,
that's right.
I've had some. I've been married before, more than once.
More than
And-
once.
And
How many total marriages?
more than twice.
You didn't answer the
I'm
question.
number 4.
But
Okay.
but I will say that not there's scenarios that sort of are why I got married, but I had one in particular that was a really bad divorce. My child's mom. We were together for like 11 years. We had little kids when we divorced, and we were younger. And it was that phase of life where it was like you said. I think there was animosity and an inferred payback. I think there was, when you're dealing with kids that have 50-50 custody, you even if your best intention, you try not to talk in front of your kids about stuff. They pick up on energy, and it's a traumatic thing for.
Oh yeah, your
and-
kids know.
Oh, it's surely. Well, now it's come out all these years later. They're like 18, 19, 20. But I was just thinking,
And they know who to blame, and they typically blame the right party.
I bet.
I mean, unless it was you, then it's wrong.
No, I've heard that before where the kids will figure it out. Even for parents that try to put the kids in between stuff, which we didn't do really, but
Thank God for your kids. So
Yes.
good on you and
Yeah.
good on your ex-wife.
But even in those, like I've heard of situations that were even worse. But even from my own experience, and also being a child of divorce, when I think about what you do, I'm side with Angie where I'm like, I guess maybe just through experience, how do you not deal with all the facts that you have to deal with and not get sort of wrecked by the trauma of all of it at the same time?
Because I'm willing to tell any one of my clients that they're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do. I actually am like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Are
So-
you willing to back away if you're like, this person
Yeah.
is in
Yeah.
the wrong? I can't go in on this one.
Well,
Oh, good
I
for
have
you.
a lot of respect for a lawyer that will fire a client.
Me
like,
too.
they're not,
I
like,
love
no,
her.
you know what? Like, fuck off.
Of
no,
course.
I'm
It's
not.
satisfying when you're like, you know what? No.
I choose not to
Well,
have
good
you.
for you.
I don't have
though.
to. I'm like, you know what?
I got
I'm
plenty
very
of-
busy.
I'm very
She-
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you
I
are.
remember
I'll fire a client for
instances.
very little.
I remember instances where she's grabbed the phone out of my hand, out of a paralegal's hand, out of the receptionist's hand, because they don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't, and we're trying to break it down because, like, mind you, as a paralegal, we can't give legal advice.
No,
Sure.
say
Yeah.
what I do. They're being rude to the paralegal. They're being
I was
rude about our
sugarcoating.
services. Yeah, they're being
Yeah.
rude
I
about
don't
our
think
services
she.
or
I
whatever
have
we're
a
doing.
feeling Erin doesn't sugarcoat.
No.
Okay.
And I will take the phone and I'm like, what? This is Erin. Like, what is it? Or I'll say Attorney Morse if I'm feeling real strong.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you.
That's like, like
Yeah. I got it.
using your child's middle name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what did you just say? I'm like, I heard you say it. Or they'll try to tell me a story. And most often my staff gets very good. I get very good feedback from my staff.
Yeah.
That's very important to me, of course, because they're an extension of me. So when someone says that my staff did something that was out of character,
You're
or
like,
if I find out they were very rude to my staff, like, and they were,
I was rude one point.
oh, lie. That, like when they get off the phone and they, my receptionist or paralegal or whomever tells me something happened and they tell me the story, I will get back on the phone with the client and tell them that I'm not going to continue representing you if you don't go apologize to my receptionist. I'm like, you have to apologize.
good for you.
I was like, so if you don't do that, you don't get access to me because they assist me. They are an extension of me. So if you think that being rude to them is how you're going to have a good
You're going to get through to me?
or
Yeah.
a good relationship with me or
Yeah.
that I'm going to continue to represent you because I can't be there every second.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in your hearing, I'm not answering someone else's email. So if your expectation is that I answer your email in 24 hours, that isn't an emergency.
Yeah.
I want you to check yourself.
That's someone who's never had an attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Or they just think they're the center of the
Or if you
freaking
have
universe,
an attorney
like-
who is always available for you,
They're not
that's
very
a bad
busy.
sign.
Right.
Yeah.
You're the one client.
yeah,
Yeah, you might want to reassess.
Or I'm
Yeah.
like, you could be my only client, but I'm going to tell you what it costs. And if you're prepared to do that on a weekly basis, you can be my only client.
Oh my gosh. Well, you probably have such respect from your team because of that, because you don't have very many people that are bosses,
Yeah.
a lead that are really standing up for the people that are doing a lot of the dirty work for you, taking the phone calls,
Yeah.
weeding
I can't
out
do
what,
it without them.
weeding
Digging
out
it.
the messages
Yeah.
and, trying to get to, they probably try to get to the bottom of these stupid calls that probably come in, and it's like a bunch of nonsense that really isn't important to the case, but they got to tell you all of it, right?
We will definitely have to weed out when it comes to new consults or a client's problem. Like this, I'm sorry to say, this is not important. This doesn't need to go to the attorney, but because her time is way more valuable.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
So personally, I do my best to avoid wasting her time because
Yeah. Well, that's in favor of the client too, though. You want to burn through your money just bullshitting around?
thank you, fucking
Right.
thank you.
Right. And that's another concept that we try to have is save you from yourself.
Yeah.
I know you think you want to talk to me 3 times a week.
You're not a therapist.
Like,
That's
baby,
expensive, and I don't care about your feelings. I'm a
not
lawyer.
your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do hire a friend and we can meet for coffee and you can just
Right.
let it all out. But
You
yeah,
just you just nailed something there when you say, I'm your lawyer. I'm paraphrasing you, but it's not about your feelings. It's about, how we're going to win this.
I actually said it a lot meaner. I don't care
Yeah.
about your feelings.
Well, good
So it's
for
not
you.
even that. I don't care.
But
yeah.
I can't care.
Of course you
can't.
can't. You can't get it
Yeah.
done. But, that brings me back to, I guess, what I was trying to ask is, because you're a mom, right? And congrats on the new little one, by
I
the way.
have 2 kids. I have a 10-year-old as well.
I know that's awesome. Connor?
Yeah, Connor.
All
Yeah.
right, that's your boy. And Lily
Lily?
is the new baby.
Yeah.
Very nice.
we
Very
listen.
nice.
We listen to things.
So,
we
but
hear
you're a
things.
mom,
Yeah.
and so I would imagine that still plays on you if you see kids are being abused or being played against each parent. I mean, that's
That
got to
shit
be
pisses
hard.
me
Oh,
off.
I would imagine.
I go left on that.
I bet.
I'm like, you think? I have one particular case where I think I've said at least 12 times he's struggling emotionally and we're working through it. But I'm like, you think the answer to your case, and it's not. The facts are not there. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. I'll tell you just right now. You think the answer to your case is leaving your children motherless?
Yeah.
I screamed at him. I think I slammed the phone.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, I
like,
know.
that's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You said that out loud. I did this to him. I'm like, you said that out loud. I heard you say it. You spoke these words to your lawyer.
Well,
Do you know that?
But can I say?
What's the matter with you?
I can even tell you though, as a this is going to sound terrible, but when I was going through that with my kid's mom, there were times when I thought it'll come around. What she's doing right now will come around. When they get older, they'll know.
It does.
But it's funny how you don't want it to by then. By the time, a lot of the time, you're like, I don't even want it to come around now. That everybody's better. Let's not go back to that dark place. So
Right.
time has
Yeah.
because everyone's emotions are so raw when they come to their attorney for this stuff. I imagine you're dealing with basket cases half the time as far as what they want to do. And
Yeah.
you
Oh
know.
yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm not filing that.
Right.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have the question. I have one client that I'm thinking about, and he wanted me to file like a termination of parental rights, which the bar for that is insanely high.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
All right. So he couldn't meet the burden.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
It was a joke. So I was like,
she doesn't feed
I was
the
like-
kids on the schedule that
She-
I'm supposed
she
to
went-
have them on. Like,
Oh, I
it's
guess-
something
she
so
went
stupid.
She went to New Orleans for 3 days and didn't answer her phone, so she's abandoned them.
Oh my.
No.
I was like, sir.
She can have
I
a-
want to abandon you.
You know what?
Yeah,
she
I
can
get
have a
it.
fucking vacation. She probably needs one.
I'm like, sir, I get it. I know why she left you. Yeah.
So I was always a hands-off parent because I had a bad childhood. So if I would have spanked my kids, I would have messed me up. I'm one of these people.
When you said hands off, it sounded like
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like, fuck them
Yeah,
kids, put them
fuck
in the
them
car.
kids.
No, I mean hands off in terms of discipline, and it probably
Got it.
backfired. But I just
Yeah.
was never. I don't.
You were against corporal punishment. I'll be
Thank
your
you.
representative.
Thank you.
So the way
Already.
I'd like you to phrase that is that you're against corporal punishment,
Thank
but you're
you.
very involved in their care.
That's
Yes.
it exactly. Thank you. How much is this costing? Because we got to wrap it up, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
gotta go.
But it was really because of my childhood trauma and and just making sure. And the mom was kind of hands off. Hold on, didn't believe in corporal punishment either.
Okay.
There we go. That's better. That's much better.
But I think you start picking things apart at that phase of it where it is like that sometimes. Like, well, where are the kids? Who's watching them? That's when I learned about like right of first refusal and all these cards I used to pull. Like,
I hate right of first refusal. I try to leave it out of
in
my parenting
retrospect, it
plans.
made no sense. It made no sense.
If you have equal time sharing and one parent wants to go have a date night and the kids go to
A babysitter.
grandma's,
Or even a
grandpa,
babysitter.
And it also makes you a
Police
slave to
them.
your kids.
Yeah.
Well,
as
also,
well, because
and
then
it makes you police them, right?
Yeah.
It creates
the worst about
conflict that wouldn't necessarily be there.
That's
the
such
other
a great
the other
point.
person can't have a life basically because
Right.
you want to know everything that's going on. So
and also,
yeah.
if you have half of the time, what are you worried about? Short
Yeah.
of it being abusive,
Yeah.
yeah.
which abuse is worse than you think it is.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet.
So, I told my client, this one who wanted termination of parental rights for going to New Orleans. I told him, I'm like, listen, I want to tell you right now, you created, a 19-page PowerPoint presentation and showed this to me thinking that you could meet your internet research-based burden of termination of parental rights, which I'm going to tell you right now, I have one of these cases in front of me. You can't.
Like they're trying to sell it to you.
Right. That's
Yeah.
exactly what he's doing. I said, and I could take your money and file this. I know that you will lose.
Yeah.
This will be denied. And I could take you on a $50,000 ride. That won't help you get divorced.
And it won't
get
help
you to
your
custody.
kids, right?
Yeah.
And it will harm your kids.
Exactly.
Because even if you don't talk to them about it, this kind of conflict going on in your heart and their
Yep.
mother's heart
Mm-hmm.
harms them.
And
It does, and they play, and then the kids.
So do you want to go? I want 100 because I'm also going to have to deal with your divorce and the fallout from that. And
Yeah.
I want it in my trust account within 5 days. Can you do that?
Yeah.
No,
All right,
Yeah.
then let's move
Exactly.
And,
Yeah,
and
then
a
shut
lot
the
of
fuck up.
a lot of these
That's what I said.
a lot of these issues and problems that arise in cases.
Yeah.
We take a spin on that, and if you actually watch her TikToks,
Yeah.
it's driven from stuff that has happened.
It's fictionalized.
But it's real.
I mean, we put a spin on it
Yeah,
to show
yeah.
like
Yeah.
these are the problems that happen in cases all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's a frivolous motion or
Yeah.
a petty opposing party, these things happen.
Yeah.
And they get overlooked.
But
Yeah.
but attorneys and paralegals, you guys have the foresight to have seen this before, to have read about cases before when you're going through it. And I'm not defending it at all because now I have the hindsight
Yeah, you have hands-on.
to say what a dumb thing that was. What a dumb thing that was on both of our parts at different times where you started this whole thing off with, it's like a payback. There's like a payback, but there's also a part of it where that you're traumatized from the divorce, you're traumatized from this.
Yeah.
Everyone's feelings are raw, and it's just a lot of bad decisions. So you almost have to play the part of a counselor in a way, I guess. Erin.
Oh, yeah. It's on my business card, attorney and counselor at law.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that
do.
makes
I do
sense.
counsel them a
Yeah,
lot.
I mean,
That's a big portion of my day. I probably spent 4 hours doing it today.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not kidding.
You have a
Counseling.
lot of
No,
patience.
I'm serious.
No, I don't. I get to just be as blunt and as rude as I need to be.
Yeah.
Like one client, I had spent an hour and
And
a
she
half
gets
speaking
paid
with.
to do this.
It's great.
It's amazing.
Like I have one particular client who, and this was a while back, I spent 3 hours in the morning speaking with them and having a back and forth conversation about what we should do, what our strategy is, and we were taking a strategy that had some risks with it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, these are all the facts. Okay. The judge could find this way or the judge could find this way. And this is your risk. This is your worst case scenario. Are you willing to take that risk? I think you should. I think the most likely outcome is what we're planning. But if not, this is, your worst case scenario is, 5 hours of attorney's fees and a contempt charge. Maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if this, it was like an abuse situation, I'm like, if you truly believe that abuse is going on, you got to withhold
You
the
gotta
children.
protect your
You got to.
kids.
I'm
Of
like,
course.
what are you going to do?
That's a real deal, though. That's different.
Right. And that's what I said. I'm like, I believe these allegations. I'm like, this is your big risk. So we spend this time, we go through it, and I'm like, this is what we're going to do. I filed the motion. The judge said, set it for hearing, whatever. I said, so there's going to be a period of time where you're withholding the child, and we're going to fight that. I'm going to defend you against it, but be prepared. This is your risk. If you're willing to take that risk of attorney's fees and a finding that says the word contempt, that's what we're risking. So,
Sure.
but if you truly believe that your child's being abused, and based on what you're telling me, I believe it's true.
You would go to the end of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
What's 5 hours of their attorney's fees? Who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
Right? That's nothing if
Yeah.
you protected your child.
That's right.
And sometimes even if you're wrong, you got to try to do the right thing.
If you think it's the right, yeah.
Later in the day, she calls me back and is asking my receptionist, like, what do I do? I get on the phone with her and I'm like, what facts have changed at this time?
Yeah. Like,
I was
we
like, I
just made
understand
the
you're
decision.
emotional, but don't be stupid too.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't have the right to be both. It's too expensive.
Make a decision. You have to make a decision.
Yeah. When I speak to you, write it down.
Oh my God.
Can't you send me an email on it? No, I won't be doing that. I have other things
Why
to
can't
do.
you take the notes on your
Oh,
end?
dude, I see you eyeballing me. I had pages and pages
Excel spreadsheet over
of
here.
notes. I was constantly writing the whole time. Yeah. You have to because you can't remember it. You're emotional.
Yeah, that's
Of
the
course.
point.
Yeah.
right?
You can't,
So-
or record it on the other end or something so that you
No.
remember what you
You
said.
can't.
Write it down.
You got to write it down.
Not
you
without
don't-
my
You can't do
permission.
voice recording.
So being a female lawyer in this area, I know you probably get a lot of women that come to you and like, yeah, she's on my side. Yeah. So I am like one of those women that is like woman empowerment. Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm also the harshest critic on women. Yeah. Especially like coming from a house with, we've talked about this, abusive household and seeing my mom go through stuff and then going, through a divorce with my mom and dad and all that. And I see women that use that kind of stuff to try to manipulate a situation
weaponize it.
within a divorce. Mm-hmm. So how do you handle something like that when it comes in? Because I know you probably get a lot of women going, I got a female lawyer. She's going to be on my side. I'm number one. I'm the girl. She's girl power.
I do have a secret strategy that I'll have to tell you off air.
Okay.
But one of the ways is if you really believe that there's abuse and that you have this belief that you can get full custody, even though that's not a phrase, I'm sure you know that.
Yep.
That's no longer a phrase. But you think that you should have like all the rights to the children and their decision making and time. Your burden to prove is that detriment would happen to the children if not. So what we would be doing is we'll have to get some experts involved. And then I quote the cost of that.
That backs it all out.
And I'm like, if it's worth it and you know that this is abusive and what's right for your children,
You'll do
you'll
it.
do it.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do. I'm giving you the path.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
There's
say
a
it like
Weeds them
that?
out. Yeah, I do. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
You want me to
That-
file the motion? I'll file it today. I make this payment first.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
then
works
we'll
in
move
both
forward.
Yeah.
both directions. You just
That's
reminded
male
me.
and female. That was
Yeah.
gender in specific.
Yep.
But you also reminded me of something my attorney told me because after years of paying a lot of child support that turned out to be too much. And that, when I finally did go back,
Womp.
I know, but I was 50-50 and it was killing me at the time. I mean,
Yeah.
it was hard for me. And I had the kids 50% of the time and long story short, they fixed it.
Yeah.
But I remember him telling me they'll bring a specialist in because it's one of these deals. It's the same reason they have like a law or I guess you could probably better explain this, Erin, but the example he gave me, it's why you can't be like a CEO of a multimillionaire corporation and then are so bitter going through divorce. You're like, all right, screw it. I'm now the produce guy at Publix, and this is how much I make.
Yeah, they impute your income.
That's what it is. So they basically analyze what you could be making, and it was one of those scenarios where it's like, you could be making you make $9,000 a year. Come on, those kind of deals where it's like, but it gets scary when an attorney says we got to bring in someone to do an analysis of what the pay, and a lot of the times you back away from things when you're meeting with an attorney because you're afraid of those extra costs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and maybe it could have or should have happened in a lot of situations, and it was what is cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
And that's true. And there are ways around that if there truly is abuse. But if you're kind of this median income, it's very costly. But if there is abuse,
You have to risk it.
you have to.
I mean, there's no price
you can't
too
let
large.
it go.
Yeah.
You'll find the means. Like if I was, if my children were ever abused
Sure.
with my ex-husband or, and
You have to
was
think
fighting for
about it that way.
It would be,
You have to think about it like, what would you pay if your kids were captured somewhere where they're being abused? You'd pay anything
Yeah.
yeah.
to prevent it.
You'd figure out how to get the money.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'd be going Rambo on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like,
Kicking the door.
Taken.
Me too. Right.
Taken.
I have a very special set of skills. Right?
Right.
I would.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
a
where
great
we need
movie.
Patricio's
I
voice.
don't know who you are, but if you sign the retainer, I can get your daughter back.
That's it. We'll find
Yeah,
it.
so
Fabulous.
But let's-
it's interesting. Yeah.
So I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Is it guardian ad litem?
Yes, that was correct.
Oh, I got it right.
Yeah.
Wow. nice.
Oh,
And it's
fancy.
AD and not AT. That's usually
It's Latin or something, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But what does it mean altogether? I mean, I have an idea.
It's they represent the child.
Yeah.
So the interests of the child. So they don't come to court and be like, 4-year-old Johnny said he doesn't want to go to dad's house, and there you go. So mom gets full custody.
Why
That's
does the
not
guardian
what happens.
litem have a southern accent?
Why is the guardian ad litem from a popka?
I don't. I mean, that's where we are. so.
I've never questioned your voices,
Yeah,
but
I
for
just
some odd
did.
reason, I'm like, why is the guardian ad litem from a popka?
Because that was like, I was trying to make him like, simple, right?
Right.
Well, child says he doesn't want to go there, so he ain't going. So
But do you have to go into the households and analyze
I don't.
situations or whatever?
I'm a lawyer.
Okay, but when it I just read that you were guardian ad litem.
I do that for DCF cases though. Yeah.
Okay, so in those
That's
cases
for severe cases.
Yeah, that's where I give my pro bono hours.
Okay, so
Nice.
they hire you to actually go into the scenario and analyze what's going on.
Yeah. The state of Florida, like I represent the interests of the children, so I go, I evaluate, I meet the parents, the school, the children, all of that.
That's got
a
to be
lot of
hard.
investigative work that you do.
I like that.
I would imagine so, and I bet
Yeah.
some of it's kind of subtle. You got to look for subtle hints and
Yeah,
cues.
I put them right in my report. I'm
I love
ballsy.
it.
I'm like, the dad was really rude, and his reaction to this leads me to believe that he has a likelihood of being unable to control his anger.
Yeah,
And therefore, the allegations are likely warranted that he shook his baby.
yeah. Oh wow, that's got to be hard to do.
So how do you, kind of, protect yourself mentally, emotionally against those kind of cases? Like, what do you feel like you
Some
just are
days-
able to cope with it well, or do you?
Well, I have a lot of personal trauma that's pretty extreme. Patricio knows.
The
I
Trump?
don't-
Hey, we're all broken puppies. here.
Yeah, we are
Amen.
all
I'll
cage
raise a glass
puppies.
to that
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes, we are.
And a lot of times stories that come across my desk or that I learn about aren't more extreme than that. So I'm like, I can fix this. This is fixable.
It's fixable.
right?
So it's
I know
made
what
you
to do with
it's made
this.
you almost stronger or more.
Yeah. And I also see it in a way that I'm like, who else would really be this child's advocate? And I try to, I try to be honest and open and as truthful as I can be when it comes to these situations, right? And if that truth is, you got a fucking shitty case,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That I
you say
lived
it. Yeah.
truthfully in a way that I thought was the best thing to do. And sometimes I really will tell my clients, these are my two interests that are competing with each other. I know you feel this way. I know you're concerned. I know you think the other parent is going to tell your children bad things about you. But here's the other concern. Is that enough to take away their right to have their child?
Amen.
Is it enough for your child to lose their right to have their parent? is it enough? Is that what you're telling me? That they're gonna say mean things.
Well, you know what? So
Yeah.
are their friends when they're in school and you're a bitchy mom or something.
Hold
Their
on, let me
friends
make
are
it
going to
worse.
say something too.
So are
like,
they when they're 18 or 16 or
Exactly.
15.
Like,
Yeah.
that always just kind of blew my mind that parents, it's so childish, It's like you're dealing with children.
What's so
when it
funny is I
comes to
see
some of
all
that stuff.
sides because I remember feeling kind of these ways way back when they were little
Just gonna
wanting
infect their mind.
Right, being ridiculous notions and wanting to protect them from scenarios that were in my mind because of the fighting we were doing. And I feel like you have a very unique sort of perspective as an attorney with that. It's almost a blessing in a weird way that you came from wherever you came from, you've been through what you've been through, that you can be as harsh as you want to be with your clients and just be like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Or
Right.
and you're constantly looking at the best interests of the children. I would imagine you're very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to say this one for like the past 2 minutes. Like, this is a great joke.
He's got his hand there.
If-
He's like,
if-
you got to get in there.
If drama if trauma was gamma radiation, this is Bruce Banner.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's the way you have to use your trauma,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, we
yeah.
all either fold up and die, or we
You see
figure
yourself
out-
become the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you get
Live
stronger.
long enough.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that from?
Batman. I mean, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
With great power. Anyway, let's.
Yeah. So, that is my perspective. So that's what helps me sleep at night is I try in these moments to, this sounds so cheesy and I don't generally, I don't know, I feel weird saying it, but I try to like live truthfully in these moments and do the best that I can do within my means. I try to accept that there are limitations in the law and tell my client that, not make these false promises. Listen, I know you want to win this, but this is the balancing test. This is what could happen. This is your worst day in court. I have one case in particular it's difficult for its own unique ways, but I've gone to 3 hearings in a row on her. And I was like, I think you have a good argument. Your argument is there. And I know that I need to do this for you in order for this particular issue to be rest. I'm going to lose your hearing. I know you need to hear it from the judge because I'm not getting through to you. I tell her, I'd say this.
Wow.
You are not listening to me. Now we have an argument that can be made and I'm going to make it and I'm going to do my best. You're going to lose this one. And I just keep winning. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I just told her
I remember.
lose.
I think you just came out of the office and you were just
power
like,
of
how the
intention.
hell did that just happen?
Well, I was like, guys, I'd come in the
Manifested
morning.
that
It was like an early morning hearing. I don't like having hearings early in the morning. I
Sorry.
like them in the afternoon.
Sorry, Erin.
Somebody put that on the schedule wrong or what?
And everybody's like, what's up, Erin? Why are you, whatever, ornery today? And I was like, I'm going to lose this hearing. I know I'm going to lose it, but my client doesn't agree and I don't know what to do.
She's from a Popka again.
Yeah. So I go into the hearing and I'm like, well, Your Honor. And I argue my case and I make all these points. And then the judge goes, yeah, I'm going to side with the wife's counsel and I'm going to grant the
nice.
motion. I was like, what?
All right, you got to TikTok around the room. He's always social media machine over here.
No,
I'm trying to copy.
Well, no, I
Right?
I got a message from a lady asking me, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm recording.
You don't start with having to prove where you are.
Yo, honest to God.
Hold on, we're going to break for a second so Patricio can get some counseling here. I'm sorry, can get some representation.
Don't start with proving where you are.
I know. It's just I'm like, it's been all right. Look, I'm a broken puppy, and Erin's been helping me out a lot.
Yeah.
like
No phone trackers.
we she knew the issues I was going with, in my previous relationship.
Yep.
And I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but it got to
No,
the
you
point
can.
where she would come in my office and like, what stage are we at today?
Do you want me to tell you what the
Oh,
stage
is it
was?
like the meter when you go to the hospital? That has
Yeah,
like
kind
little
of. But it
smiley
was
face?
the cycle of abuse. And again, it was like emotional abuse, but the cycle of abuse has four sides to it. And I was like, what are we today? I'm like, sounds like a 4.
You need a chart up in the wall in there.
But no, like I remember the day that I came to you with I drafted my own cease and desist, and I'm like, I need you to look at this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And her
yeah.
face was just like,
all lit up.
Let's go.
I got on the phone with her. I was like, it's not coming to the phone anymore.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, this one got intense.
Can I tell you though? Without getting too deep into my past, I have been through so many crazy scenarios.
Crazy.
Well,
And
Told us you've been married.
Three times. Yeah.
One to a
One
real
was really bad.
My mom is on her third marriage, and I think that she's a wonderful, magical person.
Can I tell you the truth? This is.
I bet you
He's
will.
wonderful. And
I've said this
magical,
to my
too.
friends. So the first one was, too young, kids, blah, blah, blah. Lasted for way longer than it should have, but didn't want to be another divorced family because I went through
I
it.
find that to be bullshit, but I guess I'm a divorce lawyer.
Yeah, I know. Right, exactly.
I'll tell you my theory on that later.
The second one was ran into a high school sweetheart right after divorce.
Oh, the Facebook.
It was from Facebook.
Yes.
I know.
And it was
like,
horrible.
I know this story.
Right. So those
You could
were
be a client.
And the third was my midlife crisis. The third was, my
So
midlife.
this is your fourth marriage.
Yes.
Yes.
And this
Okay.
one, we are going
8 years.
We are going on our 8th year anniversary next month, and it has been amazing.
So should I give...
But we just got married last year.
Yeah, we've been together for 8 years.
We've been together,
Okay,
but we
nice.
count it as 8 years.
We've been
'cause
living
we're
together
older.
for 8
We're not,
years.
Whatever you want.
But it's been, but it's
I
just
like
been.
that.
I feel like there's a value in telling people that you shouldn't get married again after you've been divorced for at least 5 years.
Okay.
There should
You,
be a
got to get
space
your
in
head
between
right
it.
because you don't know who you are or what
Erin,
you
your
are.
thoughts.
Yeah, I would love your thoughts
What
on
are your
that.
thoughts, attorney?
After the
Erin
evil supervillain
Morse.
laugh.
I think that this idea that people should stay together or that they don't want to be divorced is toxic. I think it's a product of toxicity. And whenever someone's like, we've been married for 54 years. And I'm like, yeah, Karen, is it because when he was an asshole, you didn't leave?
Or
and
cheated
when he
on you.
cheated, you just accepted it?
Isn't that
Yeah.
so funny? Because every relationship
Yeah.
that we know, I hate to say this, but from the older generations have been together forever, the ones you really know, you're 100% right.
I
You
know.
about the cheating. You know about the abuse, physical abuse or whatever.
So
and
is
they
it because you stayed in the relationship because you didn't value yourself enough to leave? I'm not impressed.
And then there's
Yeah.
an award for that, right?
Yeah, yeah. There should be
Which
no
is
award
what?
for that.
That we
It's
are
called
all-
alimony.
Yeah. So you stayed in the relationship so that you could be
I love that you
unhappy
say
for the
that.
rest of your life.
I believe that. So I'm not saying that there aren't some long marriages that
Sure.
are wonderful.
Of
My
course.
grandparents were married for a long time, and I know like the black sheep and the dirt of our family, right? I know, and they had a very happy marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
That's few and far in between. Though.
I agree. My mom is on her third marriage, and the two people that she divorced, one of whom was my father, her first marriage, she should have divorced.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This was the right thing, and
Yeah.
I don't fault her.
My mom, 22 years. I was I remember being 11 years old, begging her, please leave, please.
Your children aren't better.
I'll
for
help you.
this.
I'll
for
babysit
seeing
the children. And she wouldn't.
your children need the following lessons when you're sitting in a divorce setting. They need to know that if someone mistreats them, you walk away. That is the
Love
first
it.
and foremost thing. They also need to know that sometimes people make mistakes, have a rough go of it in life, and are still good people.
I love that one too.
Yeah.
So still good, valuable people who are deserving of love and respect. Here's another one. You may disagree with somebody who's still a decent person.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And here's the
Differences of
last
opinion.
lesson. The two halves that you are created as are good people.
Yeah.
Because when you say your mom is a bad person, your dad is a bad person, you're going, half of you fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Oh my
Get away
God.
from
But they
I've
internalize that
They
shit.
do.
And
They think
I've
it's their fault.
I've never thought of it like
Yeah.
that. Like that's
Those are
you
the
know.
lessons that your children are seeing when you go through a divorce.
Yeah.
Now, am I saying that it's not turbulent and it's not difficult? Yes. But so is the chaos that y'all were going through that got you to a divorce lawyer's office.
But
Yeah.
what you just said is kind of where I feel like I landed with all that. Like we never really badmouthed each other. I don't think she badmouthed me. I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna get into it. But
You guys
Who
have your
cares?
stuff, but
That's
who
not for
cares?
you to know. Whatever
But-
someone says
right.
behind your back
Right. But it's one
isn't
of
for you to know
that's
because
one-
they didn't say it to you.
That's one of my favorite sayings is what other people think about you is none of your business.
You're damn right.
I love
Yeah.
that. Because you worry. It changes the way you think. It's like
Yeah.
you
Well,
can't
you
you
do.
just
You're worried about what
well,
people think when you
have.
walk in a room.
not
or-
anymore. But that's where it lands. That's where it lands is you just want your kids to be. I wish I could go back and realize that my job as a parent was to make sure that my kids are happy and successful in life when they leave me.
Mm-hmm. That's your job. You want to do everything that you can to make your children not need you.
Right.
Yes.
And I hate to say this, but it's like a dog. I never thought about it this way, but your job is to make sure they know what to do when you're not around, not to have them so dependent on you because you do everything for them that they're a wreck when they leave the house or
Get left home alone.
Or they move out and they're traumatized by everything because you're not there doing every little thing for them or making sure they're protected from every disappointment or whatever. Are my issues showing?
No. Just I'm remembering when I called my mom and I was in college. I'm like, I'm asking questions like, how do I do this? How do I do that? It's part of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Problem solving, it's so important for our kids to be able to cope with situations like divorce and learn how themselves to navigate through it with the help of the adults around them. But they've got to learn that this is the new normal, is what you say. Let us help you cope with your new normal. And learning how to deal with this new problem that's in life.
How about this one?
You got to problem solve. It's important for the rest of their lives.
If your child was in your shoes and their spouse was treating them the way you're being treated, or they were in the relationship that you're in, what advice would you give them? What would you want them to do?
Yeah,
exactly.
If the answer to that question is that you would want them to leave and stop being treated this way and to stop allowing their children to see this as their norm, because you're going to become their barometer for what a healthy relationship is. And if what you're teaching them a healthy relationship is like not this, right?
Yeah.
This isn't healthy. And I left. So that they know and have the skills and ability to look at a relationship that perhaps isn't healthy for them. And they go, this ain't it.
Yeah, exactly. But see, what gets in the way, and this is, I guess, another value of what you do. What gets in the way is the emotions at the time and the thoughts that go through your head depending on where you're from in your life too. Like if you went through traumatic divorce and it affected you as a kid, you're like, at least for me, it was like, oh, I don't want to put the kids through that. Not realizing you're actually putting them through way worse by staying together.
Oh, yeah. Because the tension is
or there's no
in the
end
air.
to it.
Yeah.
Right? Going through a divorce, there's an end at some point, hopefully, right? Come
Even
on.
if it's the same, I suppose, yeah.
Don't you wish me and Dan have talked about this, don't we just wish we could all be mature enough, even as adults, to just say, no, well, not mature in all ways, but in
I wouldn't
relationships. Oh, this is true. Where you could be like, hey, look, we had a good run of it, right? Like, that's what I tried to say to my ex-husband.
High five.
High five, like, patted him on the leg. Like, we had a good run. 15 years, 17 years together.
Look at these amazing kids we have.
We had great experiences, and we traveled, and we did things, like, it's great. Like, let's
and then
just
the music from
move
Price is Right
along.
plays.
Yeah, we'll just move along, be friends. And there's always one that doesn't want to do it. There's one that does. You know what I mean? It's like, God, this sucks. It could be so great. And just... how many times do you come across that where you have the parents that are, want to
they don't come to me.
Because they got it worked out. They don't need you.
Yeah.
I have a one thing that I do offer that is for those type of people to make sure that they got it right legally and they've crossed all their T's and dotted their I's and got the benefit of an attorney, even though the two of them are agreeing. I call it the 1-day divorce. So come into the office, we prepare all the paperwork, the party, you can only represent one party, but I can hand the blank forms to the other party. And the other party can tell me, like, I want this in the agreement, whatever. They still have the bargaining opportunity to make sure that they're going through the agreement and it looks like what they want. And I prepare all the paperwork that day. I prepare a final judgment, everything. It gets submitted to the court. And I ask the judge to sign the paperwork. And if they give me their email address, I'm like, you're going to get your divorce decree via email.
Oh, nice.
How often does that happen?
I usually do about 1 or 2 of those a month.
Okay.
So it's the alternative to trying to do it yourself on the internet and getting the paperwork all wrong.
It's not it's cheaper than obviously a knockdown drag out fight. It's not cheap, but it's good and it's quick.
And it's also a good protection for both parties involved.
That's what I mean by
right. So
protection.
you got it quick and you got it done right.
Yeah,
those are the
exactly.
2 things that you're getting. It ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
But
lawyers aren't cheap. We know
Well,
this.
I give up a whole day.
Yeah.
Right. It generally takes between 3 and 4 hours, but I have a little bit more work that I have to do once you guys
on
leave.
the back end.
Yeah. So for me, it's a day. I dedicate this 1 day to you and your case and get it done. And you only have 1 day to deal with the divorce.
But you're both
day
you're
divorce.
both protected. It's professional. Nothing's missed.
Right.
The kind
Now,
of stuff
I don't
that-
protect the other part. That isn't my job. I protect
yeah.
the one
Oh,
person
okay,
that
yeah.
hired me.
Yeah. And they don't have to
But-
go to court or anything, do they? Does
No.
anybody have to show up? You
No.
show up
No.
representing the
No.
one, and it's
Nope, the judge
uncontested.
will, no, I fill out the paperwork so the judge signs it.
Oh, that's
Oh,
amazing.
that's
So-
better than
Well, that's a great thing for people to keep in mind if you are going through a divorce
Yeah.
and everybody is, in agreement. Then you
We-
go to the law
we
office
gave away
of Erin Morse.
for Valentine's Day. Remember?
We did. That was great.
love it.
Yeah.
You gave that away.
That's
for
better.
Valentine's
That's
Day?
better
That's
than
amazing.
the. Speaking of my 4 or 3 divorces, that's better than the fast pass I had at the courthouse.
That's
for a
exactly
while.
what it is. It's like a fast
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is. You should market it. As
Yeah, I should market it more.
The
one-day
divorce fast pass.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not bad.
That's not
No, I
bad.
don't
It's
hate it.
really not.
I don't hate it.
Where's the marketing guy scratching that down right now?
Keep that in.
No,
I'm
keep
putting
that
it
in.
on. I'm literally
Keep that
putting
in the
it
brain. Keep that one in the brain.
Yeah.
So what's next for like the podcast? I mean, just still continue with the Q&A thing.
Well,
like,
it
what,
seems to be
what's
taking
next?
off with us having unique guests. Judges. We have a few more judges in the works.
Oh, how cool is that? They come on the show?
Great.
and-
It's
oh.
great. The legal community's small. I know it seems like, you throw a rock and you hit a lawyer, but, they don't all practice. They don't all
Yeah.
litigate. There,
Yeah.
there's government attorneys and in-house counsel and stuff like that. So
There's a passion for it too, right? Being in the business, there's
Yeah.
a reason you got into it. You have a passion for it.
Yeah.
So, do you guys discuss that kind of thing? Just the thrill of a case or the
I feel like we've discussed almost every aspect of family law, and then like we've dived into like our personal lives sometimes when it comes to the podcast and the uniqueness, the guests that we've had. Like we're growing, and first year out, I mean, your show was nominated for Best Local.
Oh, I love
I
it.
saw that in
Fantastic,
Orlando's
yeah.
Best.
Orlando
Orlando's
Weekly, Best of Orlando Weekly.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Saw that on the website too.
And
That's
two,
awesome.
two categories.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
categories.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting.
Best kept secret.
Best kept secret for Law Office of Erin Morse.
And what's the other funny one?
So I got her. I couldn't snag the nomination for Best Local Badass, but it
Love
was
that.
for
You definitely should have got that one. I'm sorry.
it was Best Local
Just 'cause
Podcast.
they don't know me.
Yeah, it was Best Local Podcast and Best Kept Secret, which was Law Office of Erin Morse.
That's amazing. But there was something about politician.
Oh, that was actually our one of our former employees who was with us because he was running for a politician at that time.
Oh, he was.
He was.
Okay.
He was.
Okay.
What's
He
this?
was.
What's this? Me and the listeners are lost.
I don't know. I gotta.
So
I forget.
At one point, one of our employees was running for a county office in Kissimmee,
Okay.
and somehow he got on the ballot for Best Local Politician. I'm like, you haven't won yet.
Oh, that's
How are you a
fantastic.
politician?
That is cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's so
Neat.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I have a very important question for you.
I probably have a mediocre answer.
Wait, and I think I know what you're gonna. I think I know what you're gonna ask. And she had a super villain, laugh earlier,
I know.
which is opposite
I
of
caught
kind of
that. I
what
did-
her. You know.
What is Wonder Woman's civilian name?
Erin Morse.
That's it, guys. I can't do
We'll
any
see-
better for
we'll-
a
we'll see you
wrap.
guys next week.
We'll see
My
you.
gosh.
You know what's so funny
No
is
hesitation.
Just-
No delay.
the next tattoo
my
I want to
Lord.
get is the lasso of truth. I'm a big Wonder Woman fan.
I figured that.
we
Why do you think
figured
I
that.
asked you a Wonder
Yeah.
Woman
Yeah,
question?
I'm a big Wonder
Did you
Woman.
know that the guy that invented Wonder Woman was also the guy that invented the polygraph?
I did know that. I watched that movie.
Did you?
watch it?
I didn't.
I watched. There was a whole like documentary type.
Okay,
movie.
so if you're a real
Did you
Wonder
know he
Woman
was in
fan,
a throuple?
Oh, here we go.
I didn't
He was
know that.
in a throuple.
So then, do
He
you
was in
know?
a throuple.
Do you know where he got the idea for the bracelets?
No, I
That
know the
was
lasso
from-
of
that was
truth is
from-
obviously the.
That was from the baby's mama. That wasn't actually his wife. She wore bracelets to represent their relationship, and that's where he got the.
Oh,
the irony is that they
interesting.
defend bullets,
I
so
know.
maybe that's why he
Yeah.
didn't marry her. He was defending that bullet.
So do you know the? I got 2 more questions for you. Do you know the only thing not allowed on her island?
Men.
And this is my favorite one. Do you? Well, I guess it's a 2-parter. Do you know that Steve Trevor was not her only love interest?
No, I didn't know
She
that.
dated Superman for a time.
That would.
And
I would date
and
Superman.
the coolest
This
part
person,
is
yeah.
she was the first DC character to officiate a gay marriage. And when she was asked if she supported gay marriage, she said, "I'm from an island of all women. To us, it's just marriage."
Right. Witty.
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 And she's also bisexual.
Okay, she must be.
That's
right?
official canon.
I mean,
So
That's official
did you
canon.
do you remember from the Wonder Woman movie where she said, what was it? It's about the book. Then she's talking to Steve Trevor on the boat. And
Is this 1 or 2?
1.
Okay.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, I have all 5 issues of Cleopatra's book on, I forget what she calls it, book on love." And then he goes, "Oh yeah, all of them." And he goes, "I would like to read that sometime." And she's like, "No, you wouldn't. We've concluded that men, while necessary for procreation, are not necessary for pleasure."
Oh, I love that.
That's like one of my favorite lines.
So
I'm not going to drink to that, but I don't have
Yeah.
any of my drink
so
left.
I just have a question. So were you a fan of the new movies?
The second one, I want to say yes because I just like Wonder Woman,
Yeah, me
right? So
too.
for it being Wonder Woman, I'm just, I want to consume Wonder Woman.
You sound like
Yeah.
me when the Daredevil movie came out. I really liked it because I like Daredevil comics so much.
Yeah, I want to like it. So
Right.
I can't bring myself to say no.
Right.
It was a good film.
I mean,
1984 was
I
great.
just felt like it was oddly cast. I like Gal Gadot, but Wonder Woman was not like that. She was
needed
Amazonian.
I needed a more woman.
Robust woman.
Like looks like she can really kick your fucking ass, but she's still sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But-
yeah. I
but
feel like
that- she
Gal
can't-
Gadot should have
she
let
can't
herself
kick-
be
no.
stronger.
Like-
right? I feel like Gal
Yes.
Gadot naturally is a stronger person
Sure.
and kind of thinned down for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish they let her be what she is.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
'cause
sure
they
there
did
was some
try to
Hollywood in there.
Feminize her a little bit,
Yeah,
and
well, because it had to be more appealing for today.
look at her so pretty in her evening gown. Like what? Come
Yeah,
on.
the inventor of Wonder Woman was very passionate about women's rights.
Yes.
That's what was so
Oh, he was
important about
insanely
him.
passionate about it.
Yeah, it was like like his life's work was dedicated
Oh, that's
to
amazing. Yeah.
to the movement, right? The cause.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
him it was like the cause, and that there was
Yeah, yeah.
no better cause in the world to him, and I found that really interesting.
Well, you talk about the thruple. He based Wonder Woman on the women in his life that he respected and loved. So that was what's so interesting because, like you said, it was a serious thing for him. He was it was a movement almost. Interestingly enough, too, when the comics and everything first started coming out and all the stories. A lot of the stories would have her tied up and then she would get free. And to him, that was a woman breaking free. But the bondage aspect of it was concerning. But I mean, consider when it came out, she's got the rope, she's tied up in ropes. And he was like, no, that's the way it goes. That's what I'm doing. And that's
Right.
what they did.
So you're saying that Wonder Woman is into BDSM?
She's
yeah,
bisexual
for sure,
and she's
because
into
him and
BDSM.
his thruple were
Yes.
yes,
For real.
right? I
Oh.
understand that was a joke, but it's actually true.
Okay.
She's bisexual
That makes
and
me
into
like
BDSM.
it even more.
I know.
So,
Technically,
Wonder Woman,
the
I
coolest
miss-
superhero ever.
did you ever watch the 70s show?
I was born in 1971. She was probably my first crush, honestly.
So I have them.
Probably
Yes.
mine too.
I have them on both DVD and I bought them on
Oh,
Apple
yes.
TV. Okay.
Of
Yeah.
course.
And my poor husband I'm like, babe, look at this. And he is respectful and feminist in a way where it's not a thing to him.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
obviously I know about this and I think about it. And
Sure.
It doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't cross his mind in that
No,
way that
yeah.
he's being progressive. He doesn't think of himself that way at all. He just exists in this, I don't know, perfect form, right? He just exists in this where I'm like,
He's
you
not
are-
allowed on the island, though.
No.
I don't know. He says Steve Trevor. But what's funny about it is in the show, she's always rescuing Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
So she is never the damsel in distress.
You got to
love
love
it.
that, though.
He is the damsel in distress. And I always watch it and I'm like, look, Steve Trevor's the damsel in distress. I'm going to save him.
It's like we're watching Wonder Woman again tonight.
Wow. We've seen this episode before, babe.
I'm like, oh, it's so good.
Heck.
Watch, Steve Trevor doesn't even know what to do. He's lost.
I love it.
Oh no,
God.
Steve Trevor's in trouble. Yeah, poor
That
guy.
is amazing. Oh, Lord.
Sounds like Steve Trevor.
Now we've
might
done
be.
talking about Wonder Woman.
So
And she's gonna
I'm
go
Wonder
home and
Woman,
Yeah.
right?
Obviously.
Get it, lasso of truth.
I thought
Saves
about that
the
when I looked that up.
day.
So
Yeah.
why
Yes.
isn't it why isn't this stuff on your website though? Why don't you have a lasso going around?
Copyright?
You know.
Oh, it's a copyright.
Yeah, I would say someone
that's
else
true.
owns it. I'm gonna get it tattooed.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
You don't
It's a
have
cool
that
tattoo.
tattooed yet?
No.
You're still figuring out exactly what you want?
No, I know exactly what I want, but I'm, breastfeeding and
Yeah.
recently had a baby.
Yeah. Okay, I get
It's
it.
one of those things where You
Gotta time
wait it
it out.
out. Yeah.
Well, I have a
course.
good tattoo artist if you don't have one already.
Oh yeah, we do. Amazing.
My husband is
A
like,
tattoo
He's a
artist?
tattoo artist.
covered.
Oh, Sam is covered.
He,
Oh,
he
so he
has
has
a
one.
he has a sleeve that he's won some awards on.
Oh, nice.
amazing.
So I
Go
have
to his person too.
I
then.
got to. I
Yeah,
got
Of
to.
very
course,
nice.
Right,
you have to
right,
support. So where can everybody find you guys?
More-
Podcast and the law office.
So, morse-firm.com is the one-stop shop for everything Erin, whether it comes to her legal services, setting up a consultation with Erin, or going to our podcast. Right there on the page, you'll see the click that says the button that says podcast, and
Right.
there it is.
We'll put links to that, to the website, to your podcast, to Side of Chaos, to the Morse Law podcast.
Well, yeah,
Or-
all that is legal Morse of action on Erin's page. I haven't thrown a chaos in there.
Very nice. Yeah, we'll put it in there still, though. I mean, we'll put it in our show, but that'd be awesome. Thank you so much for coming out, guys.
Thanks
This was
for
really
having
fun.
us.
for having
This
us.
was fun.
We actually had Wonder Woman on the show. This was pretty nice.
I love that. I love that you answered that so fast. That was fantastic. Have you been asked that before?
Maybe.
That's you know what that is? That's an attorney that's quick on their feet.
I know.
Like no delay.
Bam.
My mom got me a sign that I have, and it says, "I'm not saying I'm Wonder Woman. It's just that no one's ever seen me and Wonder Woman in the same room."
I love it. You know what's ironic?
I love that.
That's what I have called her throughout the first few years of us dating. So, and I bought her like a Wonder Woman mug, and
I got a
because
mug.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
represents strong women. And
Yeah.
if you, for me in my life, the strong women in my life have been critical in my, everything and in my growth and everything. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, for sure.
Thank
That's
you.
a good place to end it then.
It is, but we do need to talk about something that we just started. Finally,
Patreon.
we finally
that's
did
exciting.
it.
They finally
Pulled
did
the
it.
plug.
After
Yes.
132 episodes, we
So
finally
tell
did
me
it.
about
Yeah.
Patreon. What is your Patreon? How does that
So-
look? How does it play? What do you use it for?
So our Patreon, we're just doing right now. We're just doing support the show, and this is
Okay.
kind of why we delayed it for so long because I'm familiar with Patreons. I contribute to a couple of tech. I'm an IT guy, so I contribute to some guys that are trying to get their tech YouTube stuff off the ground. But for us, it's just help the show right now. So we're doing. You want to help contribute to support the show? We do a $1. We do a $3 and we do a $5. And really what we're trying to do right now is kind of just recoup some of the costs from, we have audio, music bed you might be familiar
yeah.
with that we pay for.
Monthly subscriptions.
Yeah, you know.
and,
Yeah, absolutely. It's costly to do a podcast.
It is.
A
Oh,
podcast
yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
free.
It is.
Even
but
though
we-
they're consumable free, right?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. But we're involved in a lot of charities and stuff. So the idea has been that once we get a little bit of recoup back on the monthly expensive, we'd like to really use some of that for prizes or things that can kind of help drive attention to local charities. So maybe we'll do an auction or things we've
Yeah.
done in the past that I've just paid for out of my pocket.
Yeah, when you have, a certain charity doing a pajama drive or something for
Yeah.
kids in need, then maybe some of that money will go towards that. The idea is to do charity of choice, whatever a charity of choice is at the time,
Yeah.
and take some of the proceeds and from what the Patreon payers are contributing and put it towards those nonprofits. Because we
Yeah.
try to support local nonprofits.
Yeah.
Right.
Small business. We're all about small business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So yeah.
And
so
we should
stuff
point
like
that out too, because this is a great point, Angie. But your law firm, you're a local business. You're a business run by women.
All females.
Well, that's what's doing
Except
that
for
with the law.
Patricio, but right.
What a great gig, by the way, Patricio.
That
Yeah.
was a little
That was scary.
that was a little creepy.
Right when you said that,
I know.
but you know what? That's the
Yeah.
exact
So
kind of business.
my firm is 2 female attorneys. I have 2 male paralegals. That includes.
Which is kind of a
I kind
It's
of
a
love
cool-
it.
it's a cool
actually.
balance of
It's
power.
a nice little spin.
Because here's the thing, working in legal for all the years that I have, majority of paralegals that I've worked with have been female. I really don't see
and,
that
the,
many.
and the lawyer's the male. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been vice
Like
it's
versa.
a
what you did
cool,
there.
it's a
Like
cool
what you
flip
did
of
there.
power there.
Erin, like what
We
you
have
did there.
we have a very, very diverse crew. Like honestly, we should be a reality show.
I love it.
Hey,
Do you know anybody that works
Could
in
be-
Netflix?
could be in the works. Could be in the works, people. I'm just saying.
Well, aside from the obvious value of your services, and I'm sure you're very busy, we've talked about that, but I can tell just by Patricio's comments and TikToks and stuff, and we have to start following yours now that you've mentioned it. It seems like a really fun place to work too.
Yeah.
So-
Sometimes I'm Ornery.
Well, you have to
happens,
get.
yeah.
You know, I have a.
You want a
mug.
passionate lawyer? You think I'm aggressive to the other side? I'm
Yeah.
aggressive to you too.
You
That's
know what
right.
though? You got to get shit done.
Oh, yeah.
That's my motto. You know.
Working with Erin these going on 2.5 now 3 years almost.
Wow.
I know.
Holy
I know.
moly. Time
It's
flies.
time for a promotion, baby.
Oh no, I am happy where I'm at. I mean,
kidding.
the only
I'm
other thing
totally kidding.
I can run the firm. That's the only other thing. Like, but I'm happy where I'm at
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's honestly
The only way up would be like becoming a lawyer.
becoming a lawyer,
Yeah.
and that's it. But
Or we'd have to become huge, and I'd have to make you like, you know, chief marketing officer or something.
and now you would officially have a criminal department
Yeah.
because that's the only thing I would practice. I'm like, I'm done with family. I'm doing criminal.
Yeah.
Give me the criminals. But
That's funny. My attorney is a family attorney and a criminal attorney, and I imagine that's a weird sort of jumping back
Transition,
and forth out
yeah.
of different.
well, I mean, you've handled a couple of criminal cases since I've been there, and
Have I?
you
How did I do on that?
I think with because like she said, she does family law, but there are certain cases that get referred to me or call to the office.
Sure.
Where I'm like, you know what, Erin, I think you can do this one.
I took one in particular big felony case.
Yeah.
Huge felony case.
Mainly because I wanted the challenge.
Sure.
And I was like, I think I can do this. I don't.
Defendant
Why not?
defendant was facing 30 years
Oh my god.
on an allegation, and I mean,
Was it Johnny Depp?
long story.
Yeah, and now his wife is the abuser. That's exactly the kind of shit I do.
Yeah.
So is this? So did you defend?
Oh yeah, she defended.
Yeah,
Defended.
I was on the defendant. I was
wow.
representing.
And the thing
defendant.
is, like, we brought in some high end attorneys to give some information on.
Right. So this particular client had met with quite a few other like really high end criminal law attorneys, and I want to say 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And came to us because we knew this person also kind of socially.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, well, let me just talk to you about it. Let's just kind of throw spaghetti at the wall, see what we're talking about. And I hear all the other attorneys, and I brought the other attorneys in because they were also friends. And I was like, I think they're all wrong.
Which stunned the client because the thing is, I even feel like the client did not want the case to go to trial because it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
So you wanted to plea out or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And all the offers that were available were just shitty offers. Whether it's
Yeah.
I was like, don't take it.
Yeah. No, she literally told the client, "Do not. I got this. I got this."
I'm like, I really think I can win this.
And then,
Wow.
I'm guessing you did.
well, no. Here was the crazy part. I at the office, I get the admin emails, and I see things get filed on.
So
certain
we had
cases.
a couple of knockdown, drag out like motions.
yeah.
Yeah.
One such motion that I went into the courtroom. I filed my motion, right? Tippity type,
which
on
I've
the
never seen before.
computer.
Which I've never seen this happen.
tippity type on the computer, and it was virtual. So I virtually appear in the hearing, and the judge. I start speaking. I said, "Well, Your Honor, it's my motion," and the judge goes, "I'm going to stop you right there, Miss Morse." And internally, I was like, "Shit, maybe I don't know what I'm doing in criminal law."
Oh no.
and
then Wonder Woman kicked in.
No. And then the judge goes, "Your motion's well pled, and I intend on granting it. I called this up for hearing to hear why the state thinks you're not going to get this."
So you're like done.
And I was like, I'll mute myself now.
Myself and the client are in the room, and we're just like jaw dropped, like what?
But you can't do that. You got to be like,
When that
Oh
happened.
no, we were jaw dropped for her.
you got
right,
to
but
put it in.
God.
But when the judge said that, I was like, I understand, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I'm
You got to
holding it inside.
save your response for later.
Margaritas.
I was like, I don't.
Okay.
Motions, depositions,
So
and
then, something crazy happened with the deposition, and the state misbehaved in a way. And I was like, I'm going to file the motion that's going to get them sanctioned.
Oh.
So I did. And I call it up for hearing, and I think they thought I was going to back down. They kept sending me these emails like, take the plea. You don't know what
Oh,
you're
it's like
doing.
manipulation almost.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't know what you're
Yeah.
doing. You don't practice
It's
criminal
like bullying
law.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you bully me, I'm going to like push back
Of
harder. I can't
course.
have it. I'm like, oh, I
we
know
go.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I go to we're going to the hearing. I'm like getting ready to have the hearing that morning, and I have a kind of a quip that like every good lawyer has great lipstick. So I'm like putting on my lipstick. And I'm like, all right, here we are in the suit. And Patricio comes because he did criminal as a paralegal. So he's assisting me in that way,
Love
of course.
It. Yeah.
And 45 minutes before this hearing was to go forward, that they were gonna get sanctioned on, I was gonna succeed on this, they filed a no pros, which is like dismiss the case with prejudice.
Oh, I saw that email and I screamed. I went running to the printer to like show it to her. I'm like, Erin, you fucking did it! You fucking did it!
Oh, that's amazing. So why don't you do more of that? Was it just too stressful? Or you just like what you do.
It's probably nice to have like a little change of pace too, right?
Right. It's just not challenging enough for me.
Yeah.
I feel like if you did criminal, we would be unstoppable.
Uh-oh.
I need like the right cases,
Now, can you do like when you're a lawyer? Do you? I don't know what the rules are. Do you have to choose a field and stay in the field, or
they have a sorting hat in the bar, and the sorting hat tells you what field of law you're going to go into.
Okay, all right.
She's not. You know why she doesn't get that reference? Because we couldn't make it through those movies. We tried. No offense to Harry Potter fans, but
I've never seen Harry Potter. I just thought that was funny.
It's a hard gig. No. It's a hard gig.
I hosted trivia 2 weeks ago, and I had no idea about Harry Potter.
Tell people that.
It's a hard gig.
I can take whatever kind of case I would want to take. I took a federal.
Yeah, I just didn't understand. I didn't know.
I took a federal civil case.
This is Wonder Woman. She can take whatever she wants.
I can do whatever I want.
Do whatever I want.
I'll fly in my invisible jet.
Well, Trish Rhea. Yeah, that's
her
attitude.
She
told Dan when he was in the hospital, and I had him call her.
She tells Dan, he's in the hospital dying, and she's like, I should have called Erin.
Yes.
Trish would do that.
You know what she did do? I called her. I didn't know you knew her, which is great. But I called her because for the first time in my life, I'm in the hospital. I just gone through a very intense traumatic surgery. I will spare you the details of. And I'm having issues as a result of the surgery. It's the middle of COVID. And
I'm in Tennessee.
One of the nurses says, I said I had hemorrhaging last night. They might have come in here. I'll try not to bug you. I'm pretty low key. And she said, it's not even safe for me to be here watching you because I have people on the other floor. So if you page me, I'll get here when I get here. And it scared me. And it wasn't a good position to feel like you're so vulnerable and scared. I couldn't even really stand up.
She just didn't have to say that.
No.
So
he called me and told me this. And I'm like, call Trish.
So I called Trish, and Trish said, you need to call this number and ask for a rapid response. And I'm like, what's going to happen? She said, your room's going to fill up with people. And you're going to tell them what happened. And I said, okay. And she said, if that doesn't work, I wish I could remember the position. She said, call the number back and ask for it. It was a position she told me to ask for. She said, if that doesn't work, call me back at this number. I'll be available all night. This is what I love about them. All night I'll be available. And I'll come down there. And I said, you have authority in this hospital? And she said, I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
I love Trish.
And then he called me and told me that. And I said, okay, I feel good now. Because I was in another state.
Yeah, I've known Trish
I feel good now. Because I knew she would go fucking take care of something if it needed to be taken care of.
Yeah. Trish don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Patricio introduced us to Carlos and Trish, and now they've been over. We're going to dinner at their place this weekend.
Yeah.
But they're awesome.
Nice.
They are great.
Yeah, they are great.
They are great.
That was a perfect friendship right there.
Yeah.
That was great.
And that's what I love about
podcasting.
No, not just podcasting itself, but just bringing my friends together because networking as well. Because I feel like you are going to get along with him, and she's going to get along with him, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a negative. What's the word I'm looking for? Negative result of friends meeting friends.
Yeah. Neither have we, and we have brought a lot of businesses together too.
Yeah.
Hey, I think they're doing a thing over here. Why don't you guys collab?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So Erin, you have a good marketing guy.
He's a good marketing guy.
He didn't apply for a marketing job. I poached him.
Oh, nice. So you have a good marketing guy. Very
Sweet.
nice.
No, I mean, even in moments of distress, so my car broke down about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I was on the side of the road. I'm like, I'm going to have to freaking call a tow truck. Out of nowhere, this tow truck pulls up. And guy offers me help and all this stuff. And next thing you know, he's towing my truck to my fiance's house. And while we're talking, he's like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm in family law. I do paralegal and marketing. Give him my card. Next thing you know, he refers us to a couple of people. And hey, no matter what situation I'm in, I'm either going to plug the podcast, plug the law firm, or plug something.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Because that's a good market.
it's mutually beneficial.
I really need him because I don't like people.
Oh, yeah.
So if people who I don't know, like if that guy talked to me, he's like, what do you do? I'd be like, nothing.
But you know what? Can I tell
Please
you,
don't
Erin?
look me up.
This is what
Please don't do
this is what I love
He'd
about
be like,
that.
what do you do? I'd be like,
But
But
you know,
you love people to some degree. You have a love-hate
but I
relationship.
get it because we do too. We talk about that. Like I'm going to
Love-hate.
say this in our show, but I'm that way too. Like sometimes I'm like, they were fucking awesome, and other times I'm like, kill me if I ever have to be around a person. So I know what you mean. Like there's a part of me that's like,
maybe it's like like the trauma that I had in my childhood.
Gamma radiation.
Gamma radiation. It caused me to like have a very keen sense of like safety.
sure.
So it might be like a little bit of a trauma response that people want to know about me, and I'm like, is it because you're going to stalk me?
Right.
Yeah, but what
Is
kind
it
of
because
murder
you want
weapons
to-
do you
But-
have in your car right
But
now?
but it's a trust issue, kind
Yeah,
of.
it is.
And,
It is.
and not
Yeah.
to bring it back to me, but that bad divorce, that midlife crisis marriage I went through. Believe it or not, it took me until my 40s to realize there are people out there that will do unbelievable
Weird.
shit to
Yeah.
stalk you, to track you, to trick you, and I just never. I thought that was more like a movie.
Because when you
One
don't
of those
think
people
that
was
way,
my own father. So that's
Yeah.
like some of the trauma that I'm
Oh
talking
my
about,
God.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me,
Mine
I'm
too.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if that guy could,
yeah, if your own
Yeah.
father,
right? What does this stranger want? Shut up, sir.
You know what? It sounds
What do you
terrible.
do? Shut up. Shut up.
It sounds terrible, but in a way, there's value in what you got out of that.
Right.
Because you could have stumbled through life to your 40s like me, just thinking, there's a Lifetime movie. Nobody's really going to pretend they're somebody else and do all this weird shit. And
Yeah.
they
It's like,
do.
I'm too away from having an infinity gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Well, I have mine.
There you go. But no, I wanted to say something real quick in regards to like the whole, socializing and stuff like that. We were at a fundraiser a few months ago, and
Uh-oh.
I'm introducing to all these people are coming up talking to us, and I'm going behind Erin's back. I'm like, this is so and so. They run so and so. Oh, this is so and so. Okay, cool.
Do I like them? Do I like them? Yeah, you like them. You like them.
Okay.
Hi, yes, so
Oh
nice seeing you.
You
We
need
might
just
be
a
related.
You need a little earbud in, and he just
Oh,
talks to you
God.
through the. You're just like the CIA or like the FBI. You just got your little piece in, and he's
Like
just
being in
hello.
politics. Like,
And it's like
okay.
I know when she's done with the conversation. We're like, all right, cool. Hey, we're gonna talk to you later. We're gonna head out right
Good
now.
for you.
The worst is when she shakes somebody's hand and goes, "I like you."
I need Patricio coming with me to the
like
parties.
You actually say it out loud. Like you're gonna like shake one person's hand and go, "Oh, we like you. I like you." Instead of saying the person's name, she's just gonna
No,
sit there. And
oh
say, "I
God,
like
That's
no,
the
I-
old school
I-
set the
That's gonna
timer on
be
your phone so that it's
so
a call and
fabulous.
you got to go.
Well, no, it got awkward at one point because someone had made a comment but like blatantly made the comment to you about something that you have, and I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? Why are you acting like this right now? But
And it was someone who was otherwise like very professional.
To one too many drinks or something?
I don't know, but he just got like weird and giggly and like a little kid, and I was like,
some
"You
mimosas
okay?"
or something he was drinking.
I was like, "Yeah, right."
Mimosas.
This is weird.
Well, this
No
has
doubt.
been a great interview, guys.
It
This
really
was
has. It's been
fun.
really fun.
Yeah, this was
See
fun.
the drinks, they make the interview more fun too.
It's been very nice to meet you
Yeah.
too. And I'm glad you're successful. It makes sense.
Thanks.
Makes
I
a lot of
appreciate that.
sense. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody talks to her and goes, "Yeah, she has a sucky law firm." No, no.
Morse-firm.com. Check out the podcast, Legal Morse of Action. We do weekly episodes. Check out our TikTok at Attorney Morse. Hashtag Erin Morse for your divorce.
Very nice. Thank you guys. That was
Right?
awesome.
I've got
And-
so much
Yeah.
great.
Oh my
witty-
gosh, she got some great little phrases that she has there.
And speaking of great little phrases,
Phases?
I had one drink. Great little
Whatever.
phrases.
Allegedly.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening once again, and make sure to check out that Patreon page.
That's
Help
it.
support the podcast.
Thank you so much for reminding me. That's at patreon.com/fineanddangy. That's DANJEE.
That's strange, I know.
And that wraps us up.
That's right. And remember, at the end of each and every single day,
It's
all fine and dandy. Catchphrases too.
That was fun.
No, there was an exchange of information with both of y'all, so this turned out just fine.
That's what he does, though. That's what you are marketing. Like, you give them information.